Well, here we are on Christmas Eve, and hopefully you are, uh, you know, on your way or or have already arrived at destinations all over the country where you'll be enjoying a fabulous Christmas with friends and family. I'm wondering, yesterday I mentioned that there's like no regular press covering the amazing capabilities of version 13 of FSD. I had one individual who took issue with that and showed me four headlines that talked kind of about FSD, but the headlines really had nothing to do with a massive change or like a chat GPT moment or wow, we're really close now, or, there was no indication. These were very tepid kinds of headlines. So I continue to see zero. Saw none this morning. Remember, I probably look at over 100 headlines before I start the show each day. And no, I'm sorry, there's still nothing there. But I think the news is getting out because Tesla is up about 5% this morning in a market that is generally favorable towards tech stocks, but the rest of them are not up 5%. And the market is up generally this morning too. So good so far on a short day, the shortened trading day, and a day when there'll probably be very, very low trading. Anyway, Sawyer Merritt has this morning from China that there's 17,600 new Teslas were insured in China last week. And that is the fourth best week of the fourth quarter and a very good week, taking us, closer and closer to, hopefully we'll get to that 515,000 that we need in order to increase our sales over last year. There are some discounts and zero interest rates will continue into January in China, according to sources. Of course, quarter one is generally the slowest quarter for China, maybe generally the slowest quarter for the United States and Europe also. And so the incentives going into the first quarter would make sense. Now, what was a little bit surprising to me is that they're going to have incentives for the Model Y, which I saw more reporting on today that is sold out for the rest of December. There's no Model Ys available to be delivered in December. We thought that the Juniper would be coming out in January. Now, maybe they'll be still running the old style and the new style simultaneously in January, and maybe that's why they're discounting the old style in January. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm reading. Anyway, this is from xAI, that company that Elon started about, I don't know, was that a little over a year ago? This is the artificial intelligence startup founded by billionaire Elon Musk, according to this article, who I forgot to write down who it was. Anyway, he said on Monday they raised another $6 billion in a Series C funding round, which included participation from NVIDIA, AMD, their customers are participating in the funding. The latest round puts xAI's valuation at more than 40 billion. I saw people yesterday saying it put it at 50 billion, according to multiple reports, and comes after a Series B funding round earlier this year for another 6 billion. Participations this funding round included venture capitalist majors, Kingdom Holdings, Sequoia, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock. It did, as did tech majors, NVIDIA and AMD, which I mentioned. New funds will be deployed towards building more AI infrastructure, buying stuff from AMD and NVIDIA. Anyway, Elon Musk responded to all this saying, a lot of compute is needed. And I responded to this saying, I continue to hope that Tesla will be allowed to purchase some xAI stock. Hey, come on, let us have some of that, Elon. Anyway, this is from Desmond Oliver, and that's exactly who he is on X. I had a conversation tonight with my cousin who owns a Model Y and a Model 3. I asked her if she uses FSD much, and she said she had no idea what I was talking about. She said, you mean that thing called autopilot, I think, where it goes stay in the lane on the freeway? He says, no joke. Many people, even with Teslas, have zero idea about what their car can do. I do think maybe it's time for some advertising, he says, and puts a little at Elon Musk at the end. So maybe Elon will pay attention. Yeah, I think I started trying to think about, the people around me in my life, and would I be crazy to think that maybe only 1% of the US population is aware that there is self-driving cars. I mean, the cars that literally at this point drive themselves with almost zero interventions or mistakes. Anyway, AJ thinks all the incentives that we've seen so far in the fourth quarter will reduce earnings in quarter four. He agrees with Larry last night. If you were watching the show last night, Larry thinks that that we'll probably have the same or lower margins in the fourth quarter. I think there'll be higher margins, even possibly over 20%. Tesla has been running an unprecedented aggressive sales campaign globally. We've never seen incentives this high on an aggregate level, says AJ. He says, I ran preliminary analysis, which suggests EPS of only 73 cents a share for the fourth quarter. Consensus is at 76. So, okay, probably maybe has a different idea also in terms of what I'm thinking about some of these one-time numbers that are going to be coming in. I should probably send a note to AJ and compare what he's thinking with what I'm thinking. All right, this is Randy Kirk. Hit like, subscribe, notify, all that stuff. Later on today, we will have a regular old day. We'll have Nicholas Gibbs, but it'll be way early. I don't know, maybe 2-ish. Maybe we'll have it around 2 o'clock, 2:30, something like that. And then the Brian White second part, my regular Tuesday show with Brian White will be normal, 7:45. And then, you could hit Patreon. I mean, it's really getting close to Christmas. I mean, I guess you could hit Patreon tomorrow if you were going to give me a Christmas present, on Christmas Day. But right now it's like lumps of coal, man. Hey. Anyway, so Market Watch has this. Orders at U.S. factories fell 1.1% last month to mark the third decline in the last 4 months. Durable goods orders slipped a narrow 0.1. That's good. I think we're going to see durable goods popping up this next year. When you take out the autos and airplanes, you get to 0.1%. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had a forecast of a 0.3% decline. And I said, no, that's not going to happen. So the 0.1% decline is more likely. On the positive side, another measure, which is seen as a substitute for business investment, rose 0.7% in the biggest gain in 15 months. These so-called core orders, did I say that right? Core orders are viewed by investors as a sign of future business prospects. Manufacturing is currently a much smaller part of the economy, it says, but it still exerts sizable influence, of course. This is from Reuters. New home sales jumped 5.9% to a seasonally adjusted rate of 664,000 units last month, the Commerce Department's Census Bureau said on Monday. The sales pace for October was revised higher to a rate of 627,000 units from a previously reported 610. It's quite an increase. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast that new home sales, which account for 15% of total U.S. home sales, would rebound to a rate of 660, which it missed by a lot. As it only, oh, I'm sorry, rate of 664. No, I'm sorry, I beat it. Okay, never mind. New home sales are counted as signing a contract. So I got that one wrong. Sorry to say, not sorry to say. I'm glad to see that so many new homes were sold last month, especially given the mortgage rates. But one of the things I have been saying that 6% is normal. They're about 6.7%. I think consumers are going to figure out that that's normal, and there's just not any inventory. So if you want to buy a home, new or existing home, you're going to have to pay 6.67, or you're going to have to pay down the mortgage, by giving a greater amount of money up front. This is a list from Apollo Global Management. These are their predictions for the coming year and how it's going to impact the economy. And so number one, they think that tariffs are coming and that'll have a 90% chance of happening, and it's their number one impact on the economy. I think tariffs are coming. I think that we had lots of tariffs during the Trump first administration, and nobody even paid any attention to them. I mean, it just didn't even matter. Now, people that are impacted by them, people that, yet specifically, I've got friends in the bicycle industry that are very worried about what's going to happen. Okay, so, but in general, I think The public paid almost no attention to the fact that there was a bunch of tariffs in the first administration. One of the big questions is, how are they going to be used? Are they going to be used to get things for the U.S.? Are they going to be used to raise money, to eliminate income tax? I mean, there's all kinds of ways to use tariffs. So we'll see what happens on that. Number two, he thinks NVIDIA earnings will be disappointing. Oh, because of inflated expectations. They have a 90% chance that that's going to happen. And, I think that I don't think NVIDIA is going to disappoint. Now, yeah, anyway, and if they do, I don't think it's going to destroy the tech sector, because Tesla on the other side will be just going crazy. The U.S. economy will reaccelerate, and the animal spirits will come back, an 85% chance of that. So there you go. That will be a very positive thing for next year. The Fed stops talking about R-star. I should have looked that up. I have no idea what that is. Put it down in the comments if you know what R-star is. Okay, the U.S. inflation will accelerate in Q1, driven by a strong economy, tariffs, restrictions on immigrations, and seasonal factors. It might do that, but it won't be because of tariffs in Q1, unless people are trying to get ahead of them. No, but I think there's reaccelerates. No, that's not going to happen. Inflation will not come down in Q1, but reaccelerate. No, that's not going to happen. Number 6, Fed will raise interest rates in 2025, a 40% chance. I think 0 chance the Fed raises interest rates next year. 7, U.S. 10-year interest rates move above 5% before mid-year. Nope, not going to happen. It's not going to be above 5%. In fact, it'll drop below 4% by mid-year. Probability of recession in Germany, 40%. I have no idea. China outright recession in 2025. I don't think so. Fiscal crisis in the United States, 10% chance. What's a fiscal crisis? I don't know. This is I saw this and I put it down. I thought it would be more interesting than that. Did you think that was a great list? And a probability of a U.S. recession, 0%. 0%. Okay. I don't think there's going to be a recession next year, but I would never put it at 0%. All right. So Gary Black asked the other day, he sent me a specific email the other day. He says, what do you think? Why are people, you think the average person is going to be willing to pay $30,000 for an Optimus bot? And I wrote back and I said, I don't think that it's going to be an issue for 3 or 4 years, because the average person isn't going to have a chance to buy an Optimus bot for $30,000 or any other price, because industry is going to suck up every single one that they can possibly get their hands on. But eventually people are going to have an opportunity to buy them for, let's call it 30,000, might be more or less. So then last night I got to thinking about, what would I use it for? Because quite frankly, I wouldn't buy a bot to do my laundry. If I had 5 kids, maybe, I wouldn't buy it to do dishes. Are you kidding me? We wash 8 dishes a day. I wouldn't do it to fold laundry. I wouldn't do it to iron. No, none of those things. So I've talked about what I would use it for, which would be to do massages, to back massages, shoulder massages, wherever I need a massage. Yeah, don't go there. I'm really talking about honest massages, because I don't really like to go to places and have a human give me a massage. I've done it once. It was okay. But a bot, I would do that all day long. I would like it. And yes, I would buy the bot. I don't know if I spend $30,000 for massages, but so I thought, well, okay, what would I really do? So listen, here's my list. Number 1, I would have the bot for deep conversations about whatever's on my mind, including ideas for YouTube shows or posts on X. I mean, yes, I can talk to my wife. She's brilliant. She's a fantastic conversationalist, but there's times when she's at work or she's just not around, or, this would be like a friend. Yeah, like a friend. Yeah, you've seen the movies. That's what I'm looking for right there. Number 2, for competition in board games and cards. You could even, apparently you could use it for competition in ping pong and other things like that. So, shuffleboard, whatever, lawn bowling. So, it's a possible companion in that way. Also, you'd have to, of course, program it or ask it, say, look, I need you to only beat me half the time, or 60% of the time, or 40% of the time. play down to my level, or, help me get better. Anyway, and it could give advice. It would be the perfect gardener. It would be able to select the right plants, the right soils, the right location, the right food, the right watering schedule, be aware of bugs and blights and all that kind of stuff. And so you would have the perfect garden, whether that's flowers or trees or shrubs or fruits and vegetables and things like that. I mean, a fantastic gardener. Oh, did I mention I have a black thumb? If I have plants, they die automatically. Did I mention that? Anyway, gardener, I would pay money for that. Various massages, I mentioned that. Number 5, a medical resource. Can you imagine? You've got a funny looking mole, and you're like, hey, come over here, Joe. What do we call your robot? Joe comes over and looks at it, and he inspects it. He looks in his, or your kids are having some kind of a problem, and you have the robot come in and talk to the kid about what the symptoms are. Are you've got a fever, you tell you're just feeling funny. You got that weird ache and you're thinking, what is that? But the bot, as opposed to just kind of describing it to Grok, now you got the bot right there who's got great eyeballs, great ears, great smell. It's going to have all those things. It's going to really be able to cleverly analyze you and then, send all that information to the doctor if it thinks that that's the next step. I think that's going to be a very big part of what Optimus will do. And then a security guard. I mean, this guy is going to have, gal, whatever, is going to have total awareness, be hooked into all your security systems, outdoors, indoors, whatever, so that it will have total awareness of all those security systems at all times, as a way to alert it that there's something going wrong. Those porch bandits won't have a chance. The robot will be chasing them down the street. You'll be able to, it'll be a great defender if somebody gets into your home or threatens any of your kids or animals or whatever else. The bot will be able to provide you with a defense. So yeah, what a phenomenal, security guard they will be. Now then, finally, there's probably other things like that I could think of, but then you get to things like walking the dog, babysitting the kids. I've always thought that those would be very useful things for the bot to do. All right, that's all I've got in terms of news and information for you right now, but let's take a look at whether Tesla has maintained that big 5% jump today. Well, yes, it's up 18.71. That's pretty good. The Dow Jones is up 139. The NASDAQ is up 162. And the S&P is up 35, and everything is up and to the right right now. All of the Magnificent Seven are up and to the right, except for NVIDIA. NVIDIA was up stronger and is now down, although it is starting to move up again. But Mag 7 all looking good. And the Cathie Woods are tending to be in the green with one exception. So yeah, all but one are in the green. Okay, percentage-wise, you've got the Dow up 0.31. You've got the NASDAQ up 0.8. All right, and the S&P 500 is up 0.58 with Tesla up 4.33. All right, let's go ahead and move into the bonds. The bonds right now are up. I mean, the yields are up, of course. 4.625. What are we going to do? It's up 2.6 basis points. I just don't get it. I don't really understand it. I think inflation is not going to come down, but I don't think it's going to go up. So I don't know what's going on with the 10-year. The 2-year is also up 0.7 of a basis point, and the 1 month is up 0.4 of a basis point. So we continue to see these kind of moves. Okay, moving on to oil. Oil was up a little bit when I looked earlier. Yes, it's up $1. We're back over $70 for Texas. 73.66 for Brent. Natural gas up 5.66% this morning. Whoa, is there a cold snap somewhere in the world? 5.66, okay. $3.86. So yeah, natural gas in good shape. Gold down a tad, $2.90 at 2,625. No real change there. Silver, same thing, just barely over $30, but remaining over 30 at $30.21. Copper up 0.39%, still right about where it's been, $4.10. We have got Bitcoin up 4,426 this morning, which is 4.76% at 97,330. Now, Bitcoin is stable. Yeah. I mean, there's no action in Bitcoin. Why would anybody think that it's risky to be in Bitcoin? We're missing the dollar. The dollar holds firm, it says. All right. Yeah. So regular schedule today, sort of, except very, very early for Nicholas Gibbs because the market will be done early. Everybody's got to go and, do their Christmas Eve stuff. So that'll be early, maybe around 2 o'clock. And then Brian White, normal time, 7:45. Please add to the Patreon pile. Last night, Brian White and I did a very good show about FSD. Brian White always has a completely unique take, different way of looking at things. You want to go take a look at that. That will be up right there if you want to go back and check it out. And then what did I leave out? What did I leave out? I feel like there's something more I need to tell you. But well, let's look at Tesla one last time. Tesla 4.24%, $18.26 up. All right, that's all I got for you right now. It has been great talking to you on this Christmas Eve.